What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the No Gimmicks podcast here on the DFPN. Boy, tonight is gonna be it's gonna be one of them nights. So before we get into the show, we're normally on Patreon, but at the request of Frank D, he demanded that we go outside the box for this one. So we're outside the box for this one. Add your comments, feel free. But normally we'd be on Patreon. So join us for the next show on patreon.com/thatfelonpodcast. Little as $1. We have added $1 tier to Patreon to where you can come in, you can interact, you can get on these shows. $1 fucking dollar, people. $1. Come to the Patreon. $1. Come to the Patreon. All right. Patreon.com/thatfelonpodcast. It is cheaper than a fucking can of Coke. Come to Patreon for $1. Also, we have music. Subscribe to the Bandcamp, thatfelon.bandcamp.com. As little as $3 gets you the entire Dat Felon catalog. MRK Socks just put off another single on there yesterday. Go check it out. Again, thatfelon.bandcamp.com. This is a really lovely song. $3 gets you the whole catalog. We do have merch. Frank D's rocking the merch right now. Go to our Teespring at teespring.com/thatfelonpodcast. The homie Makk, aka your boy, put out a post earlier. I want to thank whoever that was. I don't know who that was, but I want to thank you for copping some merch and supporting the brand and letting your feelings be known about the brand. I really do appreciate it. So everybody else, teespring.com, search for Dat Felon Podcast. Go get you some merch. Also, Mission Pro Wrestling, June 10th, True Colors, San Antonio, Texas. Tap in. We will be sponsoring Maya World's debut to Mission Pro Wrestling. She's going to be taking on Brittany Brooks. We will be sponsoring that match. So shout out to Mission Pro Wrestling. Also, shout out to the Bob Culture Podcast for allowing us to be a sponsor for you as well. They did a very great interview about wrestling musical called The Last Match, the musical. Go check that out. That was a really great interview. Actually really it's a hell of a job to put on a wrestling match in theater, and they actually have that on Broadway. So shout out to them for covering it, but go check that interview out. All right. Frank D.
Yeah, Blak Makk, what's up, man?
You see, you coming over here all nice and shit. Listen, before we got on, we had a whole talk, which we're about to get into live for the people. But exchanging pleasantries before we get into the shenanigans. How you doing? How has it been?
Oh, I'm copacetic, man. Hey, listen. It's too sweet over here, man. I don't know what's going on over there with you, per se.
I'm great. I'm great.
You were kind of getting your panties in a bunch of them, a few minutes
ago. Bullshit.
I don't know. I don't know if
bullshit.
A bad day. I don't know exactly what it was, but only thing I can tell you is, woosah. You know what I'm saying? Calm down a little bit there. I mean, what did they say back in the day on Family Matters? 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me?
You think I'm Carl Winslow?
Huh?
What the fuck?
I'm just saying.
No, that was not me. It was not me. We're about to see who it was, and I'm gonna tell you, it wasn't me. We're about to see exactly who it was.
Okay, well,
but it was not me. So let's just jump right into it. Let's just jump right into it for the folks.
Cool.
All right.
Cool.
AEW.
Yes, sir.
They have surpassed from the announcements. They have surpassed 60,000 tickets sold for Wembley.
Yes, sir.
It sounds like they can sell out Wembley from all looks of it. They haven't announced a match for the card for AEW All In. They haven't announced a match. All we have is that they're in Wembley, and Wembley has 60,000 tickets sold for it. What say you?
You know, honestly, I came on a podcast a few weeks ago, and I predicted maybe 45, 50,000 tickets would be sold for the show initially. And that was basically due to the setup of the show. You know, most of the times when they do these stadium shows, they like to tarp it off. I mean, we were at the Royal Rumble back in January, and they had tarped off half of the Alamo Dome, part that they weren't using for the production.
This is a different company. This is WWE.
You asked a question. Let me speak. So I think that you know, honestly, I think this is great. I think it's great for the business. I think I think it's great for professional wrestling. You know, to have an alternative company where the boys and the girls can go and work and learn their trade. I think this is excellent, man.
Do you really?
Yeah, this is great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's great for the business.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Okay. So with the selling of these tickets,
yes, sir.
There's been a lot of talk that this puts them just above WCW in terms of selling. Are we looking at a new competitor for WWE?
Depends on what you want to call competitor. Um, so if you look at the history books of professional wrestling, you look at World Championship Wrestling in its existence, and before that with Jim Crockett Promotions, and then before that, you know, Georgia Championship Wrestling, so on and so forth. There's always been competition in wrestling, okay? And for many, many years, until the Bischoff years, WCW never really beat the WWF at anything. I mean, they could never beat them in house shows. They could never beat them as far as pay per view goes. That wasn't.
What about the 83 weeks?
The 83 weeks was basically what I put the 83 weeks as this. 83 weeks that WCW dominated WWF was simply because of this: the cruiserweight division, the NWO angle. WCW had reinvented themselves into a fresh, hip, new product, while the WWF was still stuck in the new generation. That's kind of where I look at that. I think that people that Vince McMahon thought that were no longer valuable assets, like the Hulk Hogan's, like the Macho Man's, etc., proved that they could have a resurgence in their careers later on in WCW. That's what I think. But there was a flaw in this situation. The flaw was there was no end game story to the NWO angle. There was no end to that. They had nothing past the NWO. You weren't getting ready for the future. You weren't pushing the younger talents that would come along, like the Rey Mysterios, the Conans, the Chris Jerichos, Billy Kidmans, and all that. You made stars. Diamond Dallas Page, Goldberg, you know, Booker T was made down there as well, but they didn't have an answer to the equation. So now, fast forward now to AEW. Is AEW competition to the WWE? Like I said, it depends what you mean by competition. They're on rival networks. They're a sports entertainment branded show. So I guess you could say that they're competition, but at the same token, is Impact Wrestling competition to WWE? Is Ring of Honor competition to the WWE?
No.
So, but how is that when they're in the same genre? So I mean that's what I mean by there. WWE will tell you that AEW is not competition to them. They'll say everything is competition to them, but AEW is not competition because they'll tell you that AEW is in the wrestling business. They're in the sports entertainment business. Same thing he thought about WCW. He said when Ted Turner bought WCW, he called him up and congratulated. He said, "Hey Vince, I'm in the wrestling business." And Vince says, "Well, congratulations, Ted. I'm in the sports entertainment business. Two completely different businesses." That's how they feel about this. So when it came down to last week, we didn't have a show last week, but a story broke last week concerning Tony Khan, and it was something about the Wembley setup and an ESPN reporter saying something.
Yeah.
Now, this ESPN reporter possibly had some kind of a connection with Nick Khan. Okay. And Tony Khan went off the rails and said Nick Khan can shove it up his ass. And I'm thinking to myself, it's not really a professional thing to do.
It's not.
You would never see Vince McMahon, out of all the times that this stuff is going down,
You wouldn't see him publicly do
You would
this.
never publicly see Vince McMahon talk crap.
Privately, he's probably cussing you the fuck out.
Publicly, no. Vince McMahon never publicly went after Eric Bischoff. He didn't even. It was never Bischoff. McMahon was out there. It was Turner. That's the narrative he had. It was always him versus Turner. Now he would try to get Turner in other ways when Time Warner was merging with Turner Broadcasting, and he was trying to put some ill fate towards that merger. But Tony Khan went out and basically told the CEO of WWE, that's your boy, and you're trying to here telling lies and just shove it up your ass.
So, that's a bold fucking thing to do publicly, though. Yeah, like you don't do that type of stuff publicly unless you have evidence. So far, there hasn't been any evidence.
Well, that's why Nick Khan calls him the kid.
However, knee-jerk reaction in that moment, I don't blame Tony Khan. It's a perfectly rational reaction if that's what you suspect, which he has all right to suspect that. If he's right or not, no. I'm not saying he's right or wrong. I'm just saying I understand the reaction. It's a perfectly normal reaction.
I understood that reaction to be kind of slanderous to me.
Slanderous or not, I understood it. That's what I said. I don't. If he's right or wrong, it's a normal reaction.
So to fast forward real quick to your initial question, is AEW competition to the WWE or competition to the Whip? No, they're not, because they are the alternative to the WWE.
Yes.
They've sold 60,000 tickets in Wembley Stadium. They're probably going to sell more. Congratulations. That area over there is basically hungry for content. They are hungry for any type of live wrestling action to be over there. If they can break records for AEW, even a motherfucker that has never watched AEW at all in their lives got a ticket to this show, because it's the buzz over in England. We got to see this promotion. We got to see, what can they do? What are they doing better than the WWE? That's why people are going to see this show, because they don't get shows like this all the time. The last time WWE did Wembley Stadium was back in 1992 for SummerSlam. All right, so that's kind of where we're at this point. They sell a bunch of tickets. Congratulations. My only issue with this is that every time the AEW hits some type of a milestone, some troll out there or whoever it is, could be coming from the inside, whoever, has to always bring up and try to compare it to WCW and outdoing something that WCW did. WCW has been dead since 2001 as a company. It now lives in the WWE libraries. It's part of a subsidiary called WCW Libraries is where it's at.
Here it is. Here it comes.
So stop comparing yourself to WCW. You will never ever make the impact that WCW did. Period. We're still going right now. We're down the line here. Okay, we're in 2023. Top one of two of the top selling merchandise shirts right now at WWE right now today are the LWO and NWO. All right.
LWO's getting up there.
Yeah, LWO and NWO are the top two shirts right now selling in WWE. What the hell does that tell you? So stop trying to compare yourself as if you're going to have this.
You can't say that though, because they're not owned by WCW anymore.
Who's that?
Neither one of them. That's WWE property.
No, my point I'm making is that the company has been dead since 2001. Yet we have people that want to still bring it up and try to beat the metrics of something that happened on a damn Nitro. Is my point.
Yeah, but we don't know if All In is a pay-per-view either. They haven't really come out and said that All In's a pay-per-view. You know that, right?
Doesn't matter.
It could be an AEW Dynamite that they're calling All In.
Okay, that's great. But so I'm supposed to compare AEW Dynamite in 2023 that's going to have maybe 70,000, 80,000 people to it to a Nitro from 98? Really?
Bro, the Nitro from 98 had Hulk Hogan and Goldberg as the main event.
What's your point?
It wasn't a pay-per-view.
So what?
So are we supposed to go back in time and say, all right, y'all sold out the Georgia Dome? Because let's face it, the knock on that show The knock on that show was that it should have been a pay per view, and it probably would have sold more if you'd have hyped it up as a pay per view. That's the knock on that show. So, are we to go back in time and tell them, yeah, tonight's great, but you should have made this a pay per view? Because 20 some odd years later, here we are saying essentially the same thing to AEW. Yeah, that's great you sold out Wembley, but don't compare it to WCW because they did this. When in reality, that show could have done more.
What I'm getting at is why
you're saying the company's dead and
right,
don't compare it to it.
right.
But the number is there. So if you beat that number for years, that's been the show. That show has been the highest selling non WWE show for years. It's been that. So when there's a non WWE product that comes along and they say, okay, this show has the potential to beat that, I don't necessarily see that as comparing the two. I'm just saying this number that has stood for years as a record for a non WWE show can potentially fall. And it did.
Does anybody give a shit about AEW All In selling 60,000 tickets, defeating a number for a live edition of WCW Nitro on TNT during the Monday Night
But
fucking war?
that's how
During
you
the
put it.
Monday Night War.
That's how
You
you're
talking
putting
about
it.
it? You talking about yeah? We can look back and play Monday morning quarterback all damn day long and say, hey,
Yeah, we can.
Goldberg and Nash, or excuse me, Goldberg and Hogan should have took place at Starrcade that year.
We could do that
But
all day.
they didn't go that route because they were in the middle of a damn war that they were starting to lose against the WWF.
Oh, piss off war. They were gonna lose the rating anyway. That
Really,
was coming because the
excuse me,
product
excuse
wasn't
me.
as good as it was.
What point in time since you just said that I want to put you on the spot right quick. What point in time did you realize that WCW was going to lose the war?
Bro, when you make a move like Hogan and Goldberg
I'm sorry. So can you give me
on a
something more
Monday,
specific? Can you give me something more specific than that?
the writing is on the wall.
Could you give me something more specific than that?
The writing is on the wall. You have Goldberg
Uh
running through the whole NWO.
huh.
Other than that, there were no big stories. Other than that, it's just like what you have in WWE right now. The main story back then was Goldberg versus the NWO. That was the main story. The main story now is the bloodline, and it's starting to fizzle. The writing is on the wall.
Okay.
So
You do realize that that particular edition of Nitro that you're speaking of, the Hogan versus Goldberg match, you do realize that the decision was made on, I believe, a Wednesday of the week before
I
to
know
do that
this.
match.
I
You do
know this.
realize that the WWF had beat WCW finally in the rating after WrestleMania 14 is when they beat them. This match
Yes.
took place on July 6th or 7th at the Georgia Dome?
Yeah, this was them trying to get the rating back.
Right. So in the middle of the war is what I'm saying. Hogan came up with the brilliant idea. I'm going to drop the title to Goldberg. There was a motive. There was a motive behind him doing it, but he did that. My point is this: is that instead of going for the past metrics of WCW and what they accomplished, why doesn't AEW try to go out there and accomplish something and not have to always go back to what WCW did? Oh, we
I
did
don't.
this
I
this
don't
week.
think. I don't
We
think
did this
necessarily
this
they
week.
did that.
We did that this week, and WCW did it here, but we already did that this week, and blah 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 blah.
I
That's
don't
what
think they
people are. That's what
necessarily.
people are saying. That's what I'm not saying. It's necessarily AEW. I'm talking about. I just said earlier the trolls that come along that want to compare the two companies. There ain't never going to be a comparison.
Yeah,
Will
the
never
the
be a
tro-
comparison.
the trolls are gonna be the trolls, but the fact is the fact. The number has been there. The number has been there, but I
For
see
several
why. I
years.
can see why the trolls would come out and make that comparison. I could see that, but history is history. That number has been the history.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not agreeing with the trolls. I'm just saying the number. The fact is that number has been that number, regardless if it was a Monday Nitro. If it would have been a pay per view, it would have been a pay per view. But that show was the highest paid attendance for a non WWE show.
Cool. So I can't wait till we get to talking about the real numbers that matter, like ratings. When those numbers come up and we start
The
comparing that,
rating has been shit. And the rating is probably the rating for tonight is probably going to be shit.
Well, let's start comparing those ratings numbers to WCW. Let's do that because they want to do that.
Go ahead. There's no argument there.
Since the trolls want to do that, let's start comparing the numbers.
There's no argument there.
Let's start comparing the Dynamite numbers to say the WCW Nitro numbers or WCW Thunder numbers for God's sakes. Let's see where they go with.
Yeah, that number's not going to be there. You have no argument there. There is no argument to be had there. And the rating for tonight is probably going to be shit because you have Donald Trump on CNN, which is a huge fucking deal because he's not on Fox. He did a fucking town hall. And then you have the NBA playoffs.
But I'm sorry. If you had something on your show that people wanted to watch, wouldn't you just watch the show and then catch that shit later?
Yeah, you could. You miss out on that rating, but yeah, you totally could.
No. I'm talking about if you had something on your show that people wanted to watch. Wouldn't you watch the show? Like if there was something on the show, and this could be either one of them, because the people use that same excuse for WWE, and I don't go with it because of back in the day when everybody was watching wrestling, it didn't matter what the hell was going on in the NFL or the NBA. People still watch Nitro, and people still watch Raw. So the whole point of it is this: if there was something going on this show that was entertaining, and it was WWF, whether it's Donald Trump or not, whether it's the NBA playoffs or not, if there was something going on in this show that people wanted to watch, they would just watch the show. It don't matter what else is on. That's my point. If you have something creative that people want to see, if there's a continuity with the story that people want to see, they're gonna watch the damn show. Period.
Yeah, you got a point there. You have a point there. So I'm just saying tonight's rating is probably going to be shit.
Probably.
Par for course.
I didn't even know Donald Trump was doing an interview.
Yeah, Donald Trump did a town hall. NBA playoffs are on, and the town hall was full of crazy. So it's going to be news tomorrow. I don't expect AEW to have a great rating.
But hey, listen, great for them. You know, 60,000 tickets, whatever it is. Hey, that's good for them. It's whatever. My only thing is like, dude, stop. Let's stop living in the past. As far as we're gonna keep always comparing ourselves because I think people do this because AEW is in a position as in on Turner Network Television. That's another reason they do it because they're part of the Turner landscape, and there hasn't been any competition really to WWE. I mean, you can call it TNA Impact competition, whatever, but there hasn't really been any competition that has gone. Now, one thing that I've always said about AEW is you get a bang for your buck. They sell their pay-per-views. They're not on a streaming service as of yet, okay? And I mean as of yet because something might be turning there, which is going to be very interesting and big if that happens. That's going to turn the tide there. But they don't depend on a network like Peacock that you only got to pay $5 or $6 to a month or whatever the situation is. They sell their pay-per-views and people buy them. They generate money with pay-per-view. That's my whole point. I've never ever said that they don't make money. They obviously do make money. Otherwise, they would have fucking shut down a long time ago. My only thing is, let's just stop comparing it to WCW. Let WCW rest in peace.
I don't think they need. I don't think that. I don't know if they do it per se, or if there's trolls out there that are doing it. Yeah, they need to stop. I don't think AEW does.
Well, CM Punk on the media scrum had said.
Yeah, that was a year ago, though.
Doesn't matter, but he said it. That's what Bischoff. That's why Bischoff turned on AEW.
Are we really holding that
no.
from a year ago?
Because Tony Khan started. I remember this. Khan started running his mouth about Ted Turner and running down Ted Turner, and that's what started Bischoff's having an issue with AEW. Bischoff had been on AEW TV many times, had talked to Tony Khan many times. But what turned Bischoff on them is when Tony Khan started talking all his massive shit about Ted Turner, a man he does not know, has never met. Has only read what he's read in the damn dirt sheet from fucking liars like Dave Meltzer.
Well, now they turned on Dave Meltzer, so.
Yeah, well, shit. There you go.
Yeah, but I don't know. For me personally, and I said this before we came on air, I think 60,000 is a great thing for the business.
60,000 is a good number for absolutely. It's a good number for them. Absolutely.
It's a great number for AEW. It's a great number for the business. For me personally, and that's where I choose to stay at.
Yeah, that's great. It's a great number for their business. Absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
Do WWE do it? WWE can give a shit about that number.
They don't have to, and that's because. And here's the thing, this is where they are. WWE doesn't have to pull that consistently. They don't. They have way too many other things working for them at this point. AEW has years and years and years to work to get to that. But for them being a young company doing this number, it's really good for them.
Never said it wasn't.
Okay. Cool. All right. They are listening. I think we have enough data.
Who we mean by they are? Because I remember 10 in TNA. They are coming. Remember that? So that's what I'm saying. Yes. Who's they?
They are listening. I'm talking about AEW, and in some cases, maybe WWE. There's enough data out there that we can collect that we've said on this show that has come to pass. Like tonight, guess who showed up on AEW Dynamite?
Who's that?
Miro.
Ah.
Miro's back. There's some things that happen in WWE. I can't recall exactly what, but we've talked about them on this show.
Right.
I'm like, oh, here we go. They're listening. They are listening.
That's great for the business.
No, that's great for us. It's great for our business.
Right.
It's great for us. So, who would you want to see? What would make Frank D? What would make Frank D a weekly participant? Let's just run the gambit. What would make you a willing participant to sit down in front of your television and watch a full either WWE or AEW show?
That's a hard question to answer, dude. I'm dead ass.
that's because here we are. We want more, but what would it take?
I don't know. That's a hard question. You know, and it's an interesting question because I could literally on the network, I could sit up there and watch an old episode of Superstars or whatever without a problem, right? But I can't sit through 15 minutes of Dynamite.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
What is it about the old episodes that keeps you? Is it the nostalgia? Is it the storytelling? Is it the action?
It's just, honestly, it's the storytelling, and it's also the star power. It's also just you look at these guys, and I'm talking about the Halls, Nashes. Shawn Michaels, the Bret Harts, the Owen Harts, the Bulldogs, the Vaders, Sting, Luger, all these guys. They all look like superstars. They all look like you know,
they look like they belong.
they
There
belong.
are guys that look like they belong.
I just
I in the modern era, like
yeah.
Miro, for example.
Oh yeah,
I
Miro.
I
Yeah,
think Miro belongs. I think the House of Blak, which the concept that they are bringing out with the House of Blak, if you want to be in a trios match for the trios championships, you play by the House of Blak's rules. There's no rope breaks. There's no DQs. There's a whole bunch of things that come into play when you get into the ring with them. I like that. I like what they're doing with them. Now the storytelling, we could devote some more time to that. They just signed a new deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, and we'll see where that goes. It looks like they're going to be announcing a brand new show. We know that Dark and Dark Elevation have gone away, which I kind of hated for the indie guys that were getting on Dark and Dark Elevation.
Well, that just basically means that they'll probably be moved over to the main shows now.
Right.
They gotta have people's watch match. And I want to say something when you brought that Warner Brothers Discovery deal up real quick. So this right here, that to me, yeah, selling all these tickets for Wembley is one thing, but the fact that you're able to have $1 billion deal, a deal worth $1 billion with Warner Brothers Discovery, that right there shows that they are committed to your product. They're committed to your brand.
That's a great gesture.
That right there is where I say congratulations to AEW on that accomplishment. Not selling a bunch of fucking tickets, but the fact that you were able to get more money in your TV rights.
Yeah.
And you were able to get more shows on Turner, and they're committed to you. That's right there, my friend, is an accomplishment that WCW never could do if you want to put comparisons. Okay, because if you want to put down,
did you just swerve? Is that what just happened?
No, but what I'm saying is that's the truth. I'm not comparing what a Nitro did to what Wembley did. I'm talking about what Turner didn't want to give WCW money for Thunder.
Oh yeah.
If you want to put it like that, Bischoff could get money for Thunder. That's the reason why they had the whole third hour of Nitro. That third hour of Nitro was to pay for Thunder, which is a show that Turner wanted, but they didn't want to pay them. So congratulations, AEW, because you were able to go in there and get more money for your TV rights. Shows me that they're committed to the brand. So it doesn't matter what Frank D says. It doesn't matter what Black Makk says. It doesn't matter what anybody out there says about AEW. The motherfuckers got the money. So that's all that matters. They got the money. Which them having the money, that's what's good for the business. Because they are going to be around for a long time to come, and they got the money. That's what's good for business. I don't give a shit if they sell 80, 90,000 tickets or whatever. That I couldn't care less about that. What it comes down to is how much money is the company going to get when it comes up to TV rights deals. It's a very big business. That's one of the reasons why Vince sold to WWE, because the TV rights deals were coming up.
Yep.
That's what it's about. It's about TV rights deals. We don't get. I mean, okay, yeah, cool. You'll draw all this money at the gate. That's fine. If it's going on TV having 70, 80,000 people there for an AEW show, that's great. But if you're not getting your money on your TV rights fees, does it really matter?
No, it doesn't.
That's the point.
But this goes a long way for them. It actually does. It's like 5 years for $1 billion, right?
Yeah, 5 years for $1 billion. Yeah,
that's so like 200 million a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you have, and we were talking about a little while ago, possibility that they're gonna start streaming on the Makk, which is the new streaming service that's gonna basically bring the HBO library. It's basically gonna bring HBO Max and the Discovery streaming services together as one. So it's nothing's really going to change as far as content or anything like that. Just they're bringing them under one.
They're all under one umbrella.
So an AEW could possibly have the AEW product on there. Not sure how this necessarily affects Ring of Honor, but Ring of Honor could stay on what they're doing right now with Honor, with Honor or whatever. But AEW, technically, if you want to look at it, AEW they are the owners of Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
So
they can bring a pay-per-view to
exclusive rights to all AEW programming, which I think that would include Ring of Honor, because it is an AEW.
Yeah, they own it.
AEW. They own it.
They own it.
So this will be very interesting to see what it's going to be. Hopefully, WrestleNomics will come out. Maybe they'll have something in the next couple of days
the
about the
details.
about the details of the agreement there. But that to me, that's what's good for business. That's what's best for business, is that they can make their money on TV rights. Like I said, congratulations if they got 70, 80,000 tickets, whatever it is. Stop comparing yourself to WCW. If you want to compare yourself to WCW on something, just say, hey, we got more money on TV rights than they ever did. There you go.
Fair trade. It's fair trade. Now, back to the subject at hand. What would it take for fan? Let's just say we got a brand new fan, right? Or somebody that's looking back to get into it. What should AEW do to get that casual fan?
They need to pace the show.
That is a comment. I'm hearing that a lot. And the chief complaint amongst people that really know it is that the show doesn't get enough time to breathe.
No, they need to pace it out more. Like
Yeah.
I remember when I was watching AEW every week, and I'm watching the show, and there would be something going on. Like it was a something would go on in the ring, and it was a hot ass angle that they just did, right? And you wouldn't let that like breathe and let me think about it and let it sit there. You go right to the back for a meaningless 50-second pre-take. Those things right there, they need to cut them out. If they want to pace the show, they need to go back and pace the show like this. The first hour should be paced, in my opinion, it should be paced like Nitro, right? Where it's hard hitting action and just storytelling, like keeping you going. Like you gotta watch. You can't turn away from this show. You gotta keep watching the show. You gotta have a story there that's gonna be the story of the night. That's gonna make you stay around to the main event. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you just throw a bunch of matches out there, and WCW was guilty of this a while, they would just put a match out there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with WWF. They would just put a match out there. But if you put a match out here that has no story, guess what? I'm not gonna watch. But if you put a match out here that has no story, but you're telling me that something bad or something big is gonna happen later on tonight, and I should keep watching the show, I might be interested in keep watching.
They have gotten away.
Hook.
They have gotten away from the let's just throw a match. They're starting to get away from that, and they're starting to focus more. Like tonight, they did the first match, which they had built it last week, and they rolled it into that. And they followed that with an appearance from Miro to set up another match from that. And then they took it to the back, and they were trying to get a word with Tony Khan, and then Thunder Rosa shows up. And I'm like, oh, well, that's good. Tonight's show kind of, from what I've seen, they had a great flow to it. And it looks like they're trying to go in that direction. This is like the third week where I've seen them kind of chain stuff together to where they have the pillars and then the fallout from that, and then into tonight, it led to something tonight. So, and Christian, how we talked last show, I felt like they were just trying to set up Luchasaurus versus Wardlow, but they're setting up Christian versus Wardlow, and that led into something into tonight that was really good. Christian's promo was fucking excellent tonight.
I'll tell you what, this is what I'll do here. I know from the last time I checked my DVR, I'm still recording Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna check out Dynamite's episode from tonight, and I'll give a critique next week. I'll let you know if I was able to sit through what they were doing, if I was able to follow the stories, whatever, and just go from there. And then because it'll give me a better to answer to when you ask that question of what it would take. I can guarantee you I can pinpoint what it would take. Because like I told you, what turned me off from the show, it's crazy to say this, but I remember it. What turned me off from the show was, and I haven't watched Dynamite since, it was a segment with the Jericho Appreciation Society Action Andretti, I think his name is, and Ricky Starks, and it was horrible. And I never watched it again.
Mm.
That just completely just it.
Yeah, I'm at a point where they need to get rid of the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Yeah.
Like I'm really at that point, but I hope they make this come sooner than rather than later.
Right.
But yeah, from what I saw, tonight's show flowed really well. For WWE, for me, the draft kind of fucked everything up for me.
Oh, the draft was that you talk about pointless TV.
It messed up so much for me. So much. You know how in previous episodes we were talking about what they needed to do with Cody. Bro, I think we're starting to see Cody trail off, man. Like I hate to say it. It looks like we're at the point where we had talked about like he come in hot, he get into something hot, and then that slope will start. I think the slope is starting, man. I hate to see it. Because he was on fire. And it's like
I hate to say I told you so, but and it's not a burial. It's just
he's not in the main event picture right now. Especially with the unveiling.
But you said a while ago that you thought that Seth Rollins would be the one to take it.
I did. And
it looks like they might be moving into that direction with Seth Rollins. But
we know it's not going to be Cody.
I gotta tell you, one guy that I'm high on, right? There's actually two guys I'm high on right now. Really big on Solo Sikoa.
Yeah.
Huge fan of Solo's work.
Yeah.
That whole thing at Backlash with him when he's about to take out Jay, and I'm not talking about when he had him, when he's about to give him the spike. I'm talking about when Sami Zayn was laying on the mat, and he was looking, and it's like, what was he about to do before Riddle intercepted?
So he was about to give it to Jay.
Like he had the order. Like he has that order.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's intriguing stuff. I do think that they've kind of jumped the shark a little bit with the bloodline angle at this point. It's kind of fizzled off a little bit. Solo just brings some life into that. So that was good. But I'm really big on Damian Priest. And I'm going to make a change here. Now, I will say if they were to bring the NWO angle back, I would say, yeah, Cody is the guy. Cody is that guy, right? To turn heel and all that. But Cody's going to need an enforcer. Cody is going to need the big man, right?
Yeah.
Damian Priest.
He models this game after Scott Hall.
And Kevin Nash. So if you were to book the NWO today, black and white heels, not cool heels, but black and white badasses, Cody, and because we were thinking about members a little while ago on one of these episodes, the second guy I'm picking Damian Priest.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think the Judgment Day is whack. I think it's
I don't think they're whack. I think
if you shit sale, dude.
It's not.
I'd love to see Dominic in the LWO.
That's what I would like. If you're gonna break them up, then you need Dominic to join LWO, make the LWO heel faction, and then
you can't though because
you can't.
The LWO is too babyface now. They're too popular now as babyface.
Well, after Backlash, yes.
But that was great, dude.
It was
that
awesome.
Shit was that right there. Let me tell you, seeing Carlito come out there,
Savio
Vega, the people that Puerto Rican crowd,
kudos to fucking Puerto Rico, bro.
Boricuas, man, that dumb motherfuckers.
Kudos to fucking Puerto Rico.
They didn't need no Thunderdome.
No, you did not. Kudos to Puerto Rico. Showed their entire ass.
Monday night they needed awesome. They needed that shit Monday though.
Oh my God. Well, You kind of did because after Backlash, like people are gonna notice.
That's the point. So it kind of goes back. Dominic is the man, but once again, you can tell that he's not generating that nuclear heat.
The
You think
buzz, yeah,
it's the Thunderdome. I've been
yeah.
saying that, and there's people out here that have podcasts, and these guys have
Oh,
been. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
thank you,
Go ahead.
because I want this to be known right now. No Gimmicks was the first one to bring this shit up. No Gimmicks was the first one to say they're using this Thunderdome. Okay, go back, check the archives. We've been saying it long before now.
He's not getting that thunder nuclear heat you think he is. They're booing him, but that is the Thunderdome. That shit's been on. I've been saying that. I'm like, dude is not getting that kind of a reaction. He's getting a reaction, yes, but is he
Yes.
getting that insane heat that you think? No, he's not.
No.
And it's obvious when you look at the crowd and they're not doing shit, and you hear this. Just it's the Thunderdome, and I was reading like WWE knew they had a problem Monday. It's like, do we turn the Thunderdome on to
Oh yeah,
manipulate
you
the
got to
audio?
crank that bitch up to 20.
Or do we? It just shows you, damn man, our people aren't really digging our stories like this. So now we gotta turn the Thunderdome on, and it's like, when you have to manipulate the crowd like that, you got problems.
Well, for me, and this is just for me, I knew they would need it because I don't think they expected Saturday to be what Saturday was. And this also brought me back to with this merger what they need to if they were to do this like they did Saturday and the merger, one thing UFC is really great at is featuring local talent when they go places, right? So I think I put this up in the group. Like when they go to somewhere like Brazil, like they have people on their roster that they feature when they go to Brazil, and the Brazilians like are really into that shit. Or when they go to England and they have people featured from England, and the crowd is buzzing, right? What WWE did Saturday reminded me of that. And I'm like, I think the WWE has the roster to pull this off. Like, if you were to go to some of these places and you do what you did in Puerto Rico, I can guarantee you a crowd's going to be into it because you're featuring their people. So, and I don't think they expected that to be what it was, but Puerto Rico was awesome for all intents and purposes. It was awesome.
They were awesome on SmackDown. And they were
Yeah.
awesome on
From the moment
yeah.
they got there, it was awesome.
Hey, what did you think about real quick? What did you think about Bad Bunny wearing that classic WWF racing jacket on SmackDown?
Yeah.
I was like, that's the shit.
Yeah.
They went back later on because I watched it. I watched the clips on YouTube, right? So the USA Network clip, I think they showed the full thing.
Mm-hmm.
It showed the logo on it, but the Fox clip they digitized the WWF.
Yeah. Yeah. But and that speaks volumes for Bad Bunny. You could tell when he's in there that he loves what he's doing. You could tell that. It just translates well. You could tell he's having fun doing that shit.
They probably saw him before he came out there. It was like, oh shit, the jacket.
Yeah.
It was like,
get it ready.
You can't. you can't wear that jacket. He was like, if you can you kind of like, because if the back says WWE Racing, but if you notice he had it half off of him. Like
yeah.
Coming out, he had it rolled down. So I think they kind of told him to do that to kind of hide, because they can't. You can't show the WWF logo on any new footage, like nothing new. It can be archived footage or whatever, but you can't show it on any new, whatever, because people won't know the difference between the World Wildlife Fund for Nature and WWF, so they won't be able to tell the difference.
Right.
Stupid shit.
Yeah. Copyrights, my guy.
I thought that was it.
That was a ballsy move. I liked it.
Yeah. He threw the jacket to the crowd.
Yeah, that was a ballsy ass move. I'm like, this dude. He is having the fucking time of his life right now. And he's in Puerto Rico. Hell yeah. But yeah, that Backlash was amazing. I would the only thing I wouldn't want to see them go to Puerto Rico too much because they might wear out their welcome.
Well, they're not going to go back for a while.
Yeah, don't wear your welcome out.
Yeah, they got paid. So the thing about that Puerto Rican show was that wasn't a paid attendance. The Puerto Rican the Puerto Rican the tourism board over there, they paid WWE to come in to put that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that wasn't a paid show. Like
they
were paid, but the tickets were free to get into the buildings. Yeah,
that's cool.
Right.
It's cool, but and shit. I mean, if you're gonna do that,
they made their money.
Yeah, if you're gonna do that, then shit. Of course.
Yep.
That crowd. I would do it. I would do it again, honestly.
Right.
But I wouldn't do it for a while. But yeah, I'd definitely do it again.
And the last time they were there for a pay per view was, I believe, 2005 New Year's Revolution.
Yeah. But even that, like the history that was on that particular Backlash, like what you got.
Yeah, Savio Vega coming out there.
Yeah, Savio Vega was huge.
Why Carlito is not signed to any major promotion is beyond me.
Travesty.
Yeah,
it's a travesty. That crowd went ape shit when he came out. Absolutely ape shit. And I was like, damn, like they loved the fuck out of Carlito. But yeah, man, great times, great times. Final thoughts, what you got?
Are people getting tired of Bianca Belair?
Yeah. Ooh, I don't know. I don't. Are you judging this? Are you judging this based off the Backlash match?
Well, let me say something about the Backlash match first of all, because I want to clear this up. Because somebody forgot who it was, some Twitter reporter tried to play the race card on something, and I'm not going for that. So,
no.
Bianca got booed, and Omos got booed. First of all, Omos is a heel.
Omos
so of course
is a heel,
yes. He's going to get booed.
Yes.
They were trying to say that Bianca, you get what I'm saying? That Bianca and Omos, because they're both Black, African American. That's not why they booed, okay, Bianca. They just probably are tired of Bianca. Because if you got Puerto Ricans are just like Black people. That's what it is.
Hell, you might be, depending on what stop.
Exactly.
What stop it was.
I mean, look at Fat Joe. You feel me?
Yeah.
You know, all the motherfuckers. You know, my New York peeps on it. They already know. You know what I'm saying? I'm Puerto Rican myself. So that's why I know this shit. You dig?
Mm-hmm.
So it ain't no race thing. It's we're kind of tired of Bianca because we already know the outcome of the match. And they chose to cheer for Io because Io is somebody new. She doesn't get featured in singles matches like this. She only's been working tag team with Damage Control. So it was something different.
No, that's another one. I was like, these motherfuckers are listening to No Gimmicks. They have to be.
Yeah.
Because even in the commentary was something we both said on this show. Like, EO free of Damage Control would be such a star. Such a star.
And while we're on the subject, real quick. So, since the last time we did a show, Trinity 5-2 debuted for Impact.
Yes.
And people were laughing and joking because she chose to go to Impact. Why are y'all motherfuckers laughing and joking because she chose to go to Impact?
Let me explain for the people who don't watch Impact. Let me explain something to you. Impact Wrestling, as overall, is probably the best wrestling company right now. Their women's division, fire. The wrestling, great. Storylines, present across the card. The only thing Impact Wrestling does not have is a huge TV deal. If Impact Wrestling had a huge TV deal, something, if they have what AEW has, Impact Wrestling would be the number 2 wrestling company in America. It's just they have to work to get there.
Well, they had that at one point.
They did. They squandered that. But right now, Impact Wrestling, their knockouts division has never been not good. And it's still great. And you have names like Jordan Grace, who people don't know a lot about, but phenomenal wrestler. Deonna Purrazzo, people don't know a lot about her, phenomenal wrestler. The champion for a while at one point was Mickie James, legend. Trinity Fatu showing up in this division puts a lot of eyes on a great division of women's wrestlers. It just does.
And it helps Impact because
it does.
Someone of the star power that would come in there.
Yes.
But ultimately, I think where Trinity is going to land, ultimately, it's going to be AEW.
I think so. And I think so too. I think she will be there. I think her and Mercedes are going to be there at some point. But yeah, her choosing Impact was a great move for her. It really was.
I just don't like the fact that motherfuckers out there that weren't supporting her to begin with in the WWE weren't feeling the glow. Want to knock her for leaving WWE and going out on her own and doing her own thing. That's the shit right there that pisses. These are the same people, like I said earlier, that will shit on WCW. And I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That type of fan is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those are the people that I'm referring to. The trolls out there. For her making a decision as a businesswoman to say, okay, I want to get away, even though I'll probably make more money over here, I'm not happy over here. So I want to bounce because of the way they talk to me, the way they, whatever. And she left on her own, and she's over here in Impact, and I hope she kicks ass over there.
I hope she does too.
She could have came back and be like, oh well, you better join the bloodline. We don't need to have everybody in the fucking blood. Some dumbasses the other day says, well, why don't they put Tama Tonga in the bloodline?
It wouldn't make sense. He's not even related to them.
He's not related to them, number one. Number two, he's Tongan. What the fuck?
He's not even related to them.
Not related to them.
Now, him showing up in AEW would be interesting.
Yeah, I would now if they did that, I would like to see that. I would love to see Tonga Loa show up at AEW, right? You know why? I'd love to see them come in and back, if it ain't FTR, back CM Punk. Know why? Mm-hmm. Because Tonga and Tonga Loa got something to do. They got a little bit of an issue still with the Elite.
Yep.
Remember a few years ago when they turned on them and the firing squad was born and we never really got closure on that angle? Now you can get closure on the angle. That would get me to watch the damn show. That would get me to watch.
All right, Tony, if you're listening, you know what to do.
Yeah.
Tony, this happen.
If you were somehow get the Bullet Club, which could be at this point is a dead brand.
Well,
revitalize that shit
right now
because we got Forbidden Door coming in.
Listen, right now in AEW, we have Jay White and we have Juice Robinson operating as Bullet Club Gold in AEW right now.
Tama Tonga. You can even have them three against the Elite. Firing squad.
Bro, if that fucking happens,
I want to. That's what I'm saying. Give me something that I'm gonna want to watch.
Listen,
You see behind me, I got the shit hanging up on the wall back here. Come on
yes,
now.
for the folks out there, listen. If a name like Tama, if we come on this show or in the group and we say Tama Tonga is Bullet Club Gold, tune in to AEW because this is about to be fucking great. It's about to be great. But yeah, I'd love to see that. So Tony, if you're listening, let us know that you're listening. Get this man on AEW television. Book it. Bullet Club Gold versus the Elite.
Right, and Tony Khan, if you're watching, you can let us know by hiring your boys.
Hire us.
That's how you do it, man.
Yep.
You hire your boys. You know what I'm saying? We can sit in the damn in there. Shit.
We're available.
Yeah, exactly. I'm available. I'm always available in public.
All right, man. Anything else you got?
Nah, man, that's it. Other than that, help control the pet population, have your pets spayed or neutered, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate all the people that have joined our official fan page on Facebook, and all the people out there that supporting us from Mission Pro Wrestling, and we're also sponsoring the Indies now. So if you guys want to do business with us, holler at your boys.
Holler at us. But until next time, man, thank you to Mission Pro Wrestling. Thank you to the Bob Culture Podcast, ISPW. Thank you to everyone that, again, we're approaching 1,000 people on Facebook on our page. So thank you to everybody that's been following and tuning in and checking these shows out. We appreciate it, man. So for us here at No Gimmicks on DFPN, thank you. See you next time. Until then, enjoy the fucking wrestling, folks. Peace.